Hey everybody.
None.
How is everyone doing today?
Hey Don, how are you?
All right. All righty.
Somebody's not happy.
Here we go. Hope everybody's having a good day.
Yes.
Good. Hi. I'm having a good day too.
Good.
So, waiting for Sid to get here. Kind of an interesting discussion we thought we'd have today because this is affecting Sid right now, and also another friend of mine who is just getting way too many calls, if there is such a thing. Another one of my buds in Seattle is doing lots and lots and lots and lots of video, and it's jamming him up because he can't find enough people to help him get it done. And at these particular times, we don't want to turn down work that we're lucky enough to get. So I'll wait just for a moment. What are you guys up to?
Getting ready for the assignment for next week.
All right, good.
Taking some pictures of art. Which is
Art?
the best? Yeah, which is the best way to take a picture for a large art piece? Oil canvas.
Two lights one light on each side of it, depending on how much texture you want to show, how close you get the lights to the walls, making sure that they're equidistance from it and that the light is the same aperture across when you meter it. So it's got to be metered this way, but your lights are to the side so they don't glare back into the painting.
Okay.
I used to use two umbrellas, one to each side, satin umbrellas. Then the umbrella would be right up against the wall, oblique to the painting. And then I'd make sure that they were equal distance apart so that they would flood the painting with the same kind of light. Everybody has their own way of doing it, but pretty much always on that thing. You can't use one light. There's no way to use one light. You're going to have fall off no matter what you do.
Do you stack it too? Do you stack it?
Stack it.
I mean, photo stock it.
Focus stack?
Yeah.
No, there's no.
I think he means like bracketing.
Bracket? Yeah. I bracket. I mean, digital isn't really necessary to bracket all that much, and I don't do any blending of layers, and I don't do any focus stacking. It's just, kind of a single shot.
Okay.
Yeah. One on each side, you should be fine. Just keep it like this. Got your wall. You have to measure up the wall and put it on the wall. You have a line that goes this way and a line that goes that way. And your painting hangs right here, dead center, okay?
Okay.
You measure how high that is. Let's say that's 44 inches. You look at your camera. The camera here, the center of the lens is 44 inches off the ground. So you're shooting straight across at it. You're not doing up or down on the painting. With me? It comes straight across.
You're shooting from the top, or you're shooting straight?
Straight. You got to shoot straight. Otherwise, you're going to have keystoning on the sides. You shoot straight across. So if the painting is hanging here on the wall, I would have one umbrella like this and one umbrella like that. And I'd be shooting from here.
Okay.
But if you don't put an X on the wall with tape or something and have if you have the very same place where you're hanging your paintings, for instance,
Mhm.
making sure they're the middle of this X and you're in the middle of, you're at the same height, then you can simply mount the painting, take the photograph, and take the painting down, put a new one up. So you might have a whole bunch of little holes back here if you have different size paintings, but the painting should be centered. That's why it is not as easy to shoot artwork as people tend to think it is.
Okay. Thank you.
It just ain't. All right. Sid, what is up, my friend?
How do you do? What's happening?
Oh, too much.
That's good though, right?
I guess it is. So I have an
Yeah.
Artisan 1430, Epson 1430 Artisan. And I think I paid about $4 and change for it. So I decided, well, maybe I ought to get another one because mine's acting a little hinky when I have to put new cartridges in it, right? So I go up on Amazon and they want like $2,500 for them. And it's like, wait a minute, I didn't pay $2,500 for this printer. So apparently they're in demand and people are selling them for a lot of money. I went over to eBay, not so much a demand there.
Yeah. Printers. Oh my gosh.
I'll have to figure another way to do that. So, all right. So what is up, sir?
So so after it being like 7 months of absolutely nothing, like all my work stopped in March, just completely dried up. Like on the same day, I got all the emails and all the phone calls from all my clients.
Yeah.
They were like, we're going to indefinitely postpone. We're going to cancel it. So evidently, because the fact that kids are going back to school, companies just assume that this pandemic has magically vanished. And I started getting calls all on the same day. And so this week, since Monday, it's been just sending out quote after quote after quote. And now they're starting to come back and they're getting rejected because, whatever, I'm too much money, blah, blah, blah. So it's just interesting that, I went from the stress of not having any gigs at all to now within this 1 week, I'm trying to figure out like sending quotes out and, I have in my head, I'm trying to mentally figure out, and then everybody wants because everybody put everything on hold. So now we have a year's worth of work and they all want to squeeze it into the first 3 weeks of September.
Yeah.
Because the 4th week of September is too late and October is too late. So it's all going to be done in the next 3 weeks. So that it's just like, what, how, nah. So it's like, how do you deal with it? Like the way I've been trying to do it is I'm just trying to prioritize who comes first. So the first email I get, they're getting my first quote and they get first in line with everything. But as I get more quotes, and then like I have a local magazine that I work for, out of the blue, they're like, okay, so we need you to start this week and we need all the files by September 16th. And it's just like, okay, well, hold on. I've got other people that are in line before you and I've got to figure out what they want to do. If they want to go ahead, if they don't want to go, so I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that.
I'll tell you what this is not a problem that everybody's having right now, but it's a problem that everybody should be ready for because I have been saying from the beginning, there's no shortage of the need for photography. The need is still there. They just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Now we just got, I guess, I don't know what kind of go ahead it is, but we crossed the magic threshold here. So we're Maricopa County and Pima County, that's Phoenix and Tucson, and Navajo County, the res, where it was really, really bad for a long time, they're ready for business now. We can open up. I don't know what that means, though. I don't know if that means we can open up indoor restaurants again to full capacity or what it means, but we are now, as of yesterday, we can open. That means also ad agencies can go back to work. Graphic design companies can go back to work. They can go back and inhabit the office that they haven't been to in 6 months. So we'll see what happens. But my fear is, well, not my fear, actually, my joy is that they're going to get back and they're going to want a lot of work. I don't know though if if you can place a job behind a quote, you know what I'm saying? If you got somebody on
Right.
the wire saying, I'm going to hire you, I don't know if you can push them off because you may get this other bid. I don't know.
Right. Well, and basically the way I've tried to lock it into my head is basically the first person, like whoever gives me the money first, like whoever books me
Yeah.
first and gives me the deposit, that's who they're going to go with. There was a couple that were pretty high quotes. And so that was why I was like, well, let me just kind of figure out what direction they want to move in.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they came back and they were like, no, we have no concept of, anything. Which makes the smaller ones that are going to come in now, everything's starting to fall into place. But it was just this one barrage, it's just like everything was quiet for so long. And now everybody wants everything in 3 weeks. And there's like 5 different, jobs that are coming in that they all want it done at the same time. It's like, all right, well,
The
So
same
it's-
thing happened to my friend here who shoots real estate and architecture. Steve's phone didn't ring for the last 6 months, and now it's ringing off the hook. Everybody wants it, yesterday.
yeah, yep.
Because everybody is behind. Everybody is behind. So I don't know what that's doing to the bidding processes. Are photographers bidding low to try to get the jobs?
I got I've so far 2 out of the 6 quotes I've sent in, they've already come back no, and both of them have been the first one was, it was funny, it was the first one that I got was a design firm that I had never worked with before. 6 years ago we connected on LinkedIn. And, he was like, oh, he's like, I'm thinking of starting to work from, this is way back. He's like, I think I'm starting to work from home and I might form a new company at some point. So cut to 2 weeks ago. And he's just like, you've always been in the back of my head. He's like, I've always liked your work. He's like, it was just trying to find that right thing. And 2 weeks ago, that was that right thing. And it was a local company and they're, rebranding, blah, 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 blah. But they just, they liked the photographer that they had used previously that the design company didn't like because the work they didn't like the work. And his rate was a much lower rate than mine was. So that was the first one. And then the second one was, it was a multi-day thing in different locations for hospitals. And I think they had hired a videographer and they needed a photographer, but I don't think they realized that videographers and photographers, like there were 2 separate companies that were bidding on things for certain things. So they accepted the videographer thinking that he was going to come in and do a bunch of photography work. And he was like, no, I'm do motion only. He's just like, if you want stills, you need to get somebody else. So they just didn't have the budget. They didn't have the budget.
There's no budget. They spent all their budget on the videographer. So, yeah. And not knowing their priority, if video was their priority, then you would be like the ugly stepchild that, come in every once in a while and snap a picture. Please, sir, may I get another?
They were doing like, it was for 3 emergency rooms, 2 in Maine and 1 here in New Hampshire. And they wanted full days of like fly on the wall stuff, just us capturing everything that they could use for web and brochures and, stills for advertisements and social media and all this kind of stuff. So it would just be like a constant running gun kind of thing. So I think in their minds, I think they thought like they would hire a videographer and he would have somebody get stills while they were getting the video. And
Right.
he was just like, no, I don't. He's like, that's not part of my shtick.
Well, they should have found another videographer then. Because now they're not going to get stills. They're going to get crap stills. And be aware, everybody, be aware that they're going to start coming out of the woodwork, and a whole lot of people are going to be looking for crap. Budgets are cut. Budgets are, people are slim on disposable income, especially that middle tier company, 300 people and to 50 people size companies. They're really stretched, and they're going to try to get $10,000 jobs for $175. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I'd probably try to do it myself, but the point is you gotta hold out. Give discounts where you think it'll help. If it's a small mom and pop and you think you can make a few dollars and help keep them afloat, do that. I'm all for helping the smaller companies and medium-sized companies to compete, get out there and do it. You know, we're in a unique position here to make that happen. But yeah, make that happen if you can. There's a lot going on right now, and part of it is a supply chain issue. When everything stopped back in what was that? Basically April, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mid March or late March, April. So when everything stopped in April, they shut the factories down all over the world. Factories shut down. They still stuff in the warehouse. Now they've just reopened factories. The warehouse is depleted. I don't know if you've noticed, but paper towels are now short again. Not because everybody's buying them, because they can't make them fast enough.
Yeah.
So I imagine toilet paper will follow right along. So yesterday I went out and bought the 174 24 packs and having a semi truck delivered here. I'm never
Right. That's
Yep.
where your money's going to come from, selling toilet paper on Facebook Marketplace. That's
I have no money left. I bought it all and I call it toilet paper stock. But anyway,
yes.
So those things are happening. Other things are back behind. I ordered a computer from Apple, 5 weeks. I've waited 5 days from Apple before. I've never waited 5 weeks for Apple. So those things are catching up. When the stores get full is that's when they're going to come to us, when they start getting inventory back.
Yeah.
Right now, we're going to be working with the middlemen who are gathering up that inventory, preparing that inventory. So businesses, wholesale businesses, anybody who makes anything, they need photography right now. They need it. My friend in Seattle, Doug, was saying, it is very plain. He's working with 3 very big companies, and it's really clear that they have figured out they don't need ad agencies. A couple of the people he was working with are basically coming right out and saying, yeah, we're probably going to go a different direction now. Because we had big ad agencies, and then when they would do a shoot for us, there'd be 15 people there. And we would have the food bill would come to $2,000, for the caterers and stuff like that. And they're saying, we're not going to do that again. We're just not going there. So they're looking to hire in-house art directors and in-house people who can do those things. But Jeff Bezos always had it right. When he started Amazon, he said, there's all this new technology out there. We're going to do this online. We're going to do that online. He said, I didn't care about what was new. I only focused on what's the same. People want to buy stuff. And that's where he put all his energy in, is what's remained the same. You can go out and create something new, but you have to borrow billions of dollars, and then you have to create a market. And all that. There's no market. There wasn't a market to be created for Amazon. People were buying books like crazy. You just gave them another way of doing it. People need photography. They don't need the middleman. They just don't. And if we can, as a group, if we stick together, and I know that's about as hilarious sounding right there as a pink duck, but if we were able to stick together, we could come out of this as an industry far stronger than we went into it. I don't know if we will. I don't know if a lot of photographers feeling, they just
overwhelmed.
Well, I think a lot of people like being low man on the totem pole. I think they like it. I think they feed off of it. And I think there's a lot of photographers that do that. Not me. I've never cared much for please, sir, may I have another?
Right.
But we'll see. We'll definitely see. So how do you use any what's it called, virtual assistant at all?
I don't. You mean like something online, or
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
not really. I mean, I use Dropbox for files, and I have, but I don't use any like scheduling applications or anything
Have-
like that.
Have any of you ever used a virtual assistant? I have, and it was really great. It was really great. I had a young
you mean
man.
like a person?
Yeah, I had a young man
Oh.
in, I believe it was India, Delhi, and worked for me and another friend of mine. We had a little design thing going. He worked for us, so he was awake working while we were sleeping.
Hmm.
You know, he's in India, basically, and he would leave us all the information every day. We'd go in, we'd have a little web page with all the stuff, but we had him looking up customers, finding customer information and possibilities for us to then call to get customers, and it worked out great. And I think we paid him, this was in 2009 and 10, I think we paid about $10 or $11 an hour. And we had him working 3 hours a night. He'd work for us, he'd work for another client, whatever, but about 3 hours every 24-hour period worked for us. And if you're having a hard time, finding clients, finding that information, look towards a virtual assistant, because number one, you're going to probably get a young person who grew up with all this stuff, and they're going to know how to get it done. They're going to know exactly how to get it done. I heard James Altucher talking this morning on a podcast mentioning online stores, and he mentioned about 12 different platforms. I've never even heard of them. The only ones I really hear of are Etsy, Squarespace, and Shopify. And then he kept rattling on more and more. So yeah, there are places to go out there. But look into virtual assistants. They'll also line up phone calls for you. They'll handle simple correspondence like email queries and things like that. And if you got one for 1 or 2 hours a day, you can even get them for like 4 hours a week. You can really keep your expenses down. But the amount of work that they do that you would normally do, I always say make 3 contacts a day, right? That's 15 contacts. Hire a virtual assistant to do 20 contacts in 4 hours, and have them do it.
Mm-hmm. I hired one, Don, when we were, last year in Project 52. And she was charging like $25 for 200 listings in a Excel spreadsheet. I think I paid $125 total for over 400 contacts. So,
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And like I say, some of these people are really, really good at what they do. And if they're in other countries, they probably just hack databases, because I don't know. CIA people. But that's another way to keep it down, to keep your workflow. And a third way is to use offshore offshore, what would you call it? Simple editing. If you're not going to do anything really fancy to it, you can upload 100 shots that you did for a client, upload to a Dropbox, and the next morning they're all clean, they're color correct, they look great, and you're paying like $1 a piece for them, $1.50, which you pass on to your client anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You build it into your bid. And
I know a lot of wedding photographers in the area that's exactly what they do.
The problem is photographers as a group, we have this sort of cowboy cowgirl mentality. We're going to do it all. We're going to shoot it, then we're going to sit there on our butts in front of the computer, and we're going to do color correction on all 1,100 shots that we did, because we're in control. No, you're just finding a way not to do that shitty marketing that you don't want to do. Yeah, we know how that works. Because if you don't market, this is your world. Oh, I've got jobs. Oh, that's really great. I'm going to focus on these jobs and I'm not going to market. Oh, crap, I don't have any work. Shoot, I better market. Oh, I got jobs. I'm going to focus on these jobs and not market. And what you want is something more like this.
Yep.
This is easy. This is, have you ever had ramen? Seriously? This is ramen time, dudes. This is like burgers, chops, burgers, steaks, you know. This is ramen without cheese. It's just terrible. So that's that up and down and stuff. When you find somebody that you can help you, any of you guys in cities or towns with universities? Mike, yeah? You know,
Yeah, I am too.
yeah, you can call the university, the marketing department, and tell them what you're doing, how you're doing it, and you would entertain the idea of having a intern
Yep.
from the school. Sometimes you have to pay them like $10 an hour. Sometimes you don't pay them at all. Depends. But then you get some 22-year-old who is studying social media marketing. I think that could come in handy if you're a photographer trying to get social media clients and stuff. Having somebody who just loves it and does it, you get them for 4 hours a week, or you get them for 3 hours a day, or whatever you do, and you start building that stuff up. When you're shooting, when you're billing, when you're preparing for a shoot, your business is not then just on hold. Because if you're not on the phones and you're not making the contacts, nobody is. If you can double yourself and be making those calls, putting the Instagram stuff out, contacting people on LinkedIn while you're also over here shooting a job, that's how you get stuff done, and that's how you get it done faster.
Hey, Don, I just did a query here in Kansas City for regional employers, and I got like 36 pages that give you what the company name is, what they do, if their headquarters are here, or what their operation in Kansas City does. It's 36 pages long.
Yep. Now you take that. Now what that's not going to give you is the marketing director. It's not going to tell you the ad agency. It's not going to tell you that. You give that list to a hotshot virtual assistant or somebody from the schools that really know how to get into social media, and they'll take that list and find out the name of the marketing director, the name of the art director, the name of the ad agency that they work with, if they work with, the name of the graphic designer, if they work with a graphic designer. They'll get you phone numbers and all of that. That is the stuff you don't want to do.
Right.
There's no money to be made there. It's boring as hell, but the nasty little secret is it has to be done. Someone has to do it. And I just as soon it be somebody else, quite honestly.
When I'm starting out, I don't have the clientele, and I'm still looking for that first gig. I'm going to do it myself for right now.
Yep. Do it. You can go down to the library. It's called the Book of Resources. And you can go through the Book of Resources and it'll give you so much information you won't believe it.
LinkedIn has been my friend.
Yeah. Are you a pro LinkedIn or not pro?
No.
Well, if you think LinkedIn is your friend and you're not on pro, wait till you try pro. It's 100% better than plain LinkedIn. Plain LinkedIn, there's a wall between you and the people you want to talk to. When you go pro, that wall disappears. So if you're on LinkedIn, regular LinkedIn, and you see Mark Lund, and you say, "Oh, well, I'd like to contact Mark Lund." Well, you can contact Mark Lund if you know Mark Lund, and if he knows you. But if it's just blind contact to blind contact, that they don't let you do that. When you go pro, you can do that. You can send a letter to a note to that art director at so and so, and doing that is really powerful. But you have to do it in the right way. You don't go to LinkedIn and send somebody a thing. Hey, I'm a photographer and I want to work for you. Oh, that's not what you do. You find out about them, what their interests are, etc., where they are focused, and then you become their friend in a transparent and honest way. You're not sneaking in, But let's say you find out this guy's on LinkedIn. He's the art director of the local magazine, and he really loves old cars. And you hear about an old car festival coming up 3 towns away. It's going to be a bunch of cool old Corvettes or something. That's when you post, hey, Bob, I know you're really into old cars. And I don't know if you know, but there's this really cool Corvette festival going on just a few towns away, 80 miles from you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're a resource. So let's. Sid, you want to add to that, or should we ask Stephanie and Carmen and folks what they're doing?
No, let's find out what everybody else is up to.
Now, I know Stephanie runs another business besides her photography business. So she's a very busy person. Steph, how do you balance those two things?
Hey, sorry, I missed the first part. Balancing which two things?
The two businesses that you work. You work the well, you did. You worked. Well, actually, you were doing 3. You do your husband's and your business, your guy's business. You do the ranch, right? Or does Mark do the ranch?
Well, I would say the 3 things that we do are my husband's business, our volunteer work with the Pilots Association, and then my business.
Okay.
So that's pretty much the 3.
The ranch just runs itself.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have cattle or, livestock and stuff like that. So
Do you want cattle?
not really.
I can get you some cows.
Maybe not. No.
All right.
No.
So how do you? Because I know it's sometimes during the year and frequently sometimes during the week you are really juggling.
Yeah, I think for me that you've talked about it before is the time blocking. I definitely love time blocking, and that's so important. And then in my to-do list, I forget what you call it, but where you group things together. So
like a bullet list?
there's a name for it, but where you go on your to-do list and everything has labels, and projects and categories.
The time chunking?
Like batching, is that what they call it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so that way I can sit down and look up all the tasks that have to do with a particular thing and do those all at once and just maintain that time blocking. And that's what it takes to be able to get it all done and stay ahead of it. But yeah, wish there was a magic. I don't think there's a magic, magic bullet to getting it done, but just a lot of organization. Are you there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, the more organization you can. Are anybody here familiar with what's called a bullet journal? Mike, you're shaking.
I looked at the video. I looked at a video on it. It sounded a little bit complicated.
That's my journal.
I'm with you, Carmen. Did you watch the video over at Srini?
I don't remember. I think I just Googled, kind of YouTubed it. Googled the bullet journal, simple, quick, whatever, and that sounds like a lot of writing. I think some things already are in place that you could use, but I haven't gone further.
I love the idea. It's kind of a journal / to-do list / calendar. When I first saw it, I went, oh, that looks great. And then I watched a video by the guy who invented it, maybe something that uh, Carmen said, but or watched as well. But I left going, oh man, I don't have time to set that up. You have to remember that this symbol and an arrow going that way does that, and this symbol and arrow goes this way, something
Yeah,
else.
yeah, exactly. And then move it to if you don't get it done, then it moves on to like the next page or the next day. And I'm like, I'd rather just journal about my wants and needs than to be flipping with that.
I was thinking that it would take me 20, 25 minutes just to move the stuff at the end of the day to tomorrow's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's,
Sid, it's all you draw it. It's not like online. It's a paper thing where you have to redraw all the symbols that you didn't do yesterday tomorrow.
One of my best friends, David Say, who does an entire
I
series
love
of
David Say
task
stuff.
management stuff. I just dropped the link on his page. He's been doing this for at least a decade. He's got it all figured out, and he does a whole series. He gives a lot of the stuff is you can download it for free and you can print it out, or you can order specific ones off of Amazon that he sells because he's obsessive about paper quality and whether or not the ink will smudge on it. Very good stuff. So check his stuff out because he's got everything from the Emergent task planner to the task order up thing and it's just a series of grids and daily things where you just write down like your top 3 things for the day. Like you might have 7 things. Here's the top 3. These are the most important 3. And then you could put ones down below that aren't quite as important. And then you can list ones even below that like if you don't get them done, you can move them till tomorrow. So he's just you got to check him out. He's fantastic. He does a whole series of these things.
I ran across David's stuff 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's been doing it for a long time.
Or maybe even longer. I'm trying to think what desk I was sitting in when I ran across his stuff. And I've been a huge promoter of this stuff. Yeah. You can buy his preset stuff. He's got PDFs that you can download and do it. He's just really, really good. He was also one of those people that was helping people understand the infinite power of a terrible PowerPoint.
Yes. Yeah. He's Dave and I, we had a podcast that we've been doing for 12 years, I think.
Wow.
And originally it started, 2 people that are living their lives in the creative arts and we talk about the pitfalls and the struggles that we have. And over time, like I think the last one we did, he's become very busy now because he does the task management stuff, but then he also, he has private clients that he works on. He's working on like a Holocaust museum, an interactive thing for a Holocaust museum. So he hasn't had as much time lately. He's such a good guy. He's so into design and art, and he's so passionate about all that stuff. So yeah, like I'll post a link to the podcast. It's great just to listen to him talk because he's so invested in things. Cool. He's a good man. He's a very, very good guy.
They also make there's a day planner called the Franklin Day Planner that's got basically the same thing, but you can buy it in a 6-month or in a year packet, and you've got the daily pages and it comes in different sizes and Daytimer does the same thing.
Yep. My wife uses the Franklin planner. She has sworn by that thing for 25 years.
Maybe
and every year she downloads it.
Maybe I'm in a different, mindset where I can't stand to have to handwrite anything. So like I use Todoist, which I love because I can do all the labels and categories. And then I just make it red if I do it in the morning, orange if it's the afternoon, blue, is in the evening maybe.
You talking about that little app, Todoist?
Todoist, yeah, Todoist.
Todoist, okay, yeah.
And then at the end of the day, if you don't get stuff done, you just go reschedule everything to tomorrow. It's like one click and it's on tomorrow, or next week or whatever. It takes me like 5 or 10 minutes to organize, postpone. It's just super quick. And if I had to sit and actually handwrite all that, Lord, I think I'd go crazy.
Let me tell you how my brain works. If I do it on the computer and I don't have access to the computer, I don't remember it. If I write it down if I do it physically and I don't have that note, I can see that note page in my head.
Yeah,
I
I'm with you,
can't
Don.
see that computer screen in my head. I can't.
Right.
It's
One of the things that I just started, Don, is I have a Post-it note of the top 3 things I have to do during the day, and I put it on my phone. So I always have that, because I'm like a butterfly. I think I have adult ADHD. And so it always kind of reminds me of, these are the 3 things you were supposed to do today, Carmen. And here's number 1. You rank them and go back to, you know, doing that one thing until you get it done. And I'm getting more done that way just by having the Post-it on my phone. That I transfer tasks from something like what Stephanie says, something that's prioritized. Okay, what are the top 3 things for today? And that's really helped me.
Yeah, it's always, that's the most important thing that I stress is know your top 3 things.
And I think I usually have about 6 to 10 things every day that I do. So it's more than, I don't know. I used to use sticky notes and there were just sticky notes everywhere and it was a disaster.
If I tilted the camera down on my office back behind me here, you guys would think I was a freaking pack rat. My office is such a mess again. After I did 2 trips in a row, I got stuff everywhere, and I hate that. I hate that disorganization. So when I go up to organize, I try to make everything work, and that's why, Stephanie, I'm going to go try that Todoist. Okay, I'm going to try it, but I can only do one of those. I know people go, yeah, I've got the David Say has a thing that called the Emergent Task Planner. One of the very first things I ever saw David do was the Emergent Task Planner, and it's awesome, and it's paper, and you add that, and I had that, and then I had to-do list of I think it was a plugin for Gmail, and I had this other thing, and of course, you know, my wife says, well, put it on your Google Calendar. So I got the Google Calendar. I'm worse off now than I was before. You know, so I thought the bullet planner. I look at the bullet planner and went, oh, I'm literally not smart enough to do the bullet planner. I don't even get that.
The Todoist has I think you have to pay, you know, for their to pay for it, but they have a Google Calendar integration. So when you go into your Todoist and put things at a specific time, they show up on your Google Calendar automatically. So I use that as well because everything, you know, my day is booked out on the Google Calendar. They fit together nice.
So they talk to each other.
Yeah.
That I like.
Yep.
That is interesting. I'll go and check it. What are they, like $8-10 a month or something like that?
I don't even think it's that much. I could go look. I don't think.
Well, I'll go check it. todo.ist.
Let me look. I think it's Todoist dot something. Let me see. Todoist.com. Todoist.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of the get things done, the kind of, you know, whatever you call that, is just taking everything that comes to your mind, like a brain dump, and just putting it somewhere. And it's nice to just have that on your phone. So whenever a thought, I mean, I guess that's like my journal in a way. Whenever I have a thought or something, it immediately goes in there so I don't lose it.
I think I might be old-fashioned. I like writing it down.
Yeah.
I'm with Carmen. Well, you know, analog, but you're talking about the bullet journals, Dawn, and that's what that is.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't use all the weird symbols. I like, this is the graph paper with the dots. I think they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that because you can still write nice and straight, but if you want, you can make these little check boxes and you can do whatever the hell you want. But
I always use the graph paper.
Yeah.
I always use graph paper. I hate lined paper. I like the graphs.
But I cannot get along without my this goes with me everywhere because, you know, I've got the journal part, and then I've got all my notes for other stuff, and, you know, it's something about writing it down and having a physical piece of paper. I can't do it on my phone. If I do it on my phone, I forget 5 minutes after I do it. And then I remember a week later and go, oh shit, I didn't do that. You know, but if I physically write it down with a pen or a pencil, it gets done.
Excellent.
I have a habit tracker app that's on my phone that's separate. And once a day, it reminds me did I go on Todoist and double check that I did everything and actually checked it off.
Well, see, you know, the funny thing is I've been working in internet marketing for the past 20 years. So I've been on the computer, in front of the computer for 8 to 12 hours a day for 20 years. And so if I can get away from the computer in any way, shape, or form, I absolutely will. So, so even though I have to have my phone with me 24/7, I don't have to use it 24/7. So I try to do things as analog as possible outside of work. And part of the reason why I'm a large format guy, you know.
Well, there's only so many things our brains can keep in our head.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be better at it, but I'm not so good at it now. I gotta take care of it. Maybe a mixture of Stephanie's Todoist, going to my Google Calendar, because I'm a nutcase. I print my Google Calendar out at the beginning of the week. I've got all my main stuff. I print it out. So, because I'm still old-fashioned, I like to have it right here so I can mark on it.
Yeah.
And I got a calendar hanging there. I got a calendar here on my desk, one of those desktop calendars that's all doodled on. And I got a calendar book over here. So I try to, you know, stay on top of it. And there's still things that I screw up. But
I think, like you always say, the process. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter necessarily what you do, as long as you have a process and you follow it and you just
Yep.
tweak it and keep making it better.
yeah, well, finding those workarounds is so vital to what we do. And as things pick up, my friend Steven is, you know, phone's ringing off the hook. It's like, we need a shot of this building, we need a shot of that building, we need this conference room and the whole bit. His business is going to explode because he does commercial real estate. And they are, well, let's just say commercial real estate may not be a growth industry for the next couple of years,
Yeah.
maybe more. And so they're going to be doing everything they can to move that commercial real estate. And so he's, you know, all hands on deck for that stuff. Who else wants to add to it? Who else has a method, a way of doing something that can save time?
I just use a spreadsheet on my computer.
Spreadsheet?
Yeah, it works for me.
Do you know how much I know about spreadsheets? I know that if I double click the little Excel thing down here, a spreadsheet launches. And thus we have covered all that I know about spreadsheets. People would send me articles in an Excel file, and I would go, what? They say, oh yeah, we do everything in Excel. I'm like, I do nothing in Excel, nothing. But if it works for you, Mark, what the heck?
Yeah, I've got some spreadsheets going of contacts and mailing lists and stuff like that. And then one for finances. And it's kind of cool because if you know how to do it, you can put in a URL for, like, you know, one of your bill places, like a website you need to make a payment to or whatever, and you can put the username and password in and click on it, and it'll just launch right into it.
Excellent. Mike Thompson, I wanted to ask you a question. What is your online business?
Oh, the Tan Physics. I contract to them. I do. Well, I do a lot of the analytics and techie stuff, and
Okay.
you know, so I'm a very. That's where on the marketing side of things, I understand the numbers. I mean, if we're talking ROI, CPAs, things like that, that's what I get. That's
Okay.
fine.
For some reason, I thought you had an online store.
Well, the company does, but I mean, me?
What
No,
does the
not yet.
What does the company sell?
Sunless Tanner. That's that pictures I posted in the advanced group that I did the shoot for.
Okay, you say it so fast, I'm not understanding what.
Oh,
it is.
a self tanner, a sunless tanner.
Sunless tanner.
Sunless
Cream.
tanner.
Make it look like you have a tan.
Yes, it's
I thought that's what you were saying, and I thought, I just don't see Mike as a.
I don't use it.
I'm
Are
just,
you a model?
it's like,
It's like the hair club for men. Not only am I a president, I'm also
yeah.
right out there with this.
No.
Okay.
I'm not the owner. I'm not the president. I'm not the maker. I'm just a contractor that's been working with the guy that owns it for many, many, many years.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So, but no, it's basically, I mean, the easiest way to describe what I do is analytics. I do analysis and stuff.
Okay.
And, yeah. So that's why I get excited when we start talking business practices and business and stuff, because I get the number side of it, and and kind of the structure and stuff. So, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But more fun is the
I was going to
part.
ask you a question about your business later, but I thought you were in a different business. So for some reason, I have no idea.
What business were you? What?
For some reason, I thought your business sold ammunition.
Oh no, I had my FFL. I did
had-
have an FFL to sell guns and ammunition and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
was not going crazy.
No. You weren't going crazy. I've owned many businesses. That was
Okay.
my most recent large failure. And
Okay.
yeah, long story behind that one. But no, I gave up my FFL, so I'm no longer a federal firearms licensee.
Okay. All right. God, I was like, suntan cream? My
No.
brain was going.
But I still know a lot about it. So if you have gun questions, feel free to shoot them across. I'm happy to.
All right.
you know,
Feel
do
free
it.
to shoot him across. You see what he did there? I love it. He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, all right. I see a friend of mine from a long time. I mean, a long time. Mike Eller and I have known each other. Mike, how you doing? Mike is a photographer here in Phoenix. Are you there, Mike? We may have to send 911 over to Mike's place. There he is. There he
I'm
is.
here. I'm here. I tend to just listen.
That's fine. That's fine. I hope you enjoy when you come on and listen. And
I enjoy it a lot. That's why I keep listening to you guys. I love what you guys are doing. I believe I hooked up Mike with Will Jones regarding some stuff, lighting stuff, Speedotron stuff.
Yeah, we were working on something, and then I haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. So I think he didn't like what I have, and that's fine. No big deal.
No, he's really busy right now doing corporate work. So he works for a hospital. He'll get in touch with you. I talked to him a couple days ago, and he said he's got some projects he's got to wrap up, but he'll keep in touch with you on that because he wants to do something. He's not using it.
Not a problem.
Are you buying Speedotron or selling Speedotron?
I'm buying.
Buying. Yeah. Well,
I
with the
need
kind
more.
of work
I've
you're
only got
doing,
one.
yeah, the kind of work you're doing, it certainly makes sense. A couple of.
Well,
Mike, is this old-fashioned Speedotron stuff?
It's Speedotron Blackline.
Oh yeah.
2400 watt packs. I
Yes,
don't know
sir.
if that's 800s, but a lot of power.
mhm.
Yes, sir.
Well, I've got a head coming that can handle two 2400 watt packs. So one pack powers half the head, the other pack powers half the.
It's
the other
actually got two bulbs in it.
It's got four bulbs in it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's multiple flash heads. It's not a single flash head. It's multiple flash heads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are great. So 4,800 watt seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, which for for any kind of
ISO 10 film is just still not enough.
it's ISO 0.75.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, so yeah, we're working with some slow stuff, but I mean, the only reason for that much power is I mean, the still life, it doesn't matter. I just keep hitting the button, you know.
Right.
But for a person in having a any kind of modifier on the light, you got to have that to be able to cut through the modifier and still get the light on the person.
Well, here's the thing. Modifier cuts between 1.5 and 2 stops.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
have 4,800 watt seconds. You put a softbox on it, and you're now down to 1,200 watt seconds.
Yeah. And you got to put it about 20 inches from their face.
And when you fire that thing, and have you heard that thing pop?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, not a 48.
Sounds like a 38 going off in your.
Oh, I bet. No, I've actually popped that. Well, you saw the pictures I did of myself with the 2400.
Yeah.
And that was 38 inches from my nose. And
Now you know why he sells suntan lotion.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, when it goes off, you get the pop and you get a burning smell, and then it followed by ozone. I mean, it's a whole experience.
Oh, when I was first starting out, I was assisting in LA, and there was a photographer there who had 2 10,000 watt second Balcar units. Now, these were on wheels, like, you know, those what do you call them? Those orange, like a mechanic has.
Dolly?
It was about the size of that, about 4 feet tall, on wheels. And when you put the plugs in, you had to put the plug in and twist it. So right off the bat, when you put the plug in, you know you're dealing with something that's obviously dangerous.
Yeah.
You got to lock the plug in, and that would go out to, I think the 10,000 watt seconds would go out to 4 heads, so you could cluster the heads. Famous photographer. And right now I'm drawing a blank, but he did a lot of stuff on white. He did a whole lot. Reed Miles. Reed Miles was a photographer. And he would have not 1 and not 2. He would rent a 3rd and a 4th of these things. And I swear to God, when he would make an exposure, Hoover Dam would go, whoa, 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 whoa. I swear to you.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. And he shot everything on Kodachrome 25. So a 35 millimeter camera on a tripod and 20,000 watt seconds of light popping at one time. Oh, geez.
I managed to blow a breaker.
Huh?
So I managed to blow a breaker with the Speedotron because I had on rapid fire, rapid refresh, whatever you call it. And I'm just sitting there going pop, pop, pop.
Oh, God.
And I think about the 40th pop, it said crack, and there goes the circuit breaker.
You know, they're not really meant to do that with, like.
The whole city shut down.
I'm under a time crunch. It's a wet plate. It has to say wet. So I got like 2 to 3 minutes. So I'm like, just pop it away as fast as I can go.
Well, Mike's a Phoenix photographer, so he knows what I'm talking about. We don't have natural light studios in our town. We don't really have those because they would also be known as ovens. We have big black boxes, so we would set up our lights, and if you're shooting with a 8x10, say with a 350 millimeter lens, and you've got 2.5 stops of bellows draw, and all you've got's two 2,000 watt second lights going into 2 soft boxes, you don't have a whole lot of light for much depth of field. You're killing it with your bellows draw and all that, and then reciprocity failure. You got to add reciprocity in it as well. So it would be nothing to be sitting there with the slide out of the camera, total darkness, and the assistant's going pop. It goes boom, 31, 32, 33. Because it's like would be 30 pops for normal exposure. What would be 20 pops for a 1/3 under, and 40 pops for a 1/2 over, something like, I can't, I'm doing math in my head. So you'd be there, over 100 pops just to get 3 sheets of film.
Wow.
The good old days.
The good old days. Yeah, nobody better be within 5 feet of that damn camera.
Right.
You.
But you really earned it back then. You really did. It takes you minutes to make an exposure. Sure. It was actually fun, though.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun.
It's a new fun now, though. I think digital brings a new instant gratification. So.
Yeah, I would say there's you always give up something. For me, giving up formats was the hardest thing for me, because when I think of a photograph, even today, I'll think of a photograph I want to do. That's a 200
Square.
shot.
Yeah.
That's a view camera shot.
Yeah.
That's a 35 millimeter shot. And then
Yeah.
everything went to this ergonomic.
Yep.
And, so that's why I have all these film cameras that sit around here where I have to explain to my wife that I don't know where that came from. My God.
I thought that's what you do with the drum sets.
Yeah, she found the drum set. She goes, how long has that drum set been in the garage? 12 years. It was in boxes, but yeah, that was one of those things where you never bid on eBay if if you're not expecting to win it. It was a really nice drum set, and I bid like $650. I figured I'm never going to win that set for $650. I did. It was then shipped to the studio where it was hidden away. But I made it better by making it her drum set. I said it's a gift for you. I've been holding it for 12 years.
Yes. Surprise.
For the right time. Yeah. There's nothing you need more than 3 sets of drums. Seriously. I mean, can you imagine? I met
Hey,
a guy
set them up like Neil Peart. Have them all.
Neil
out.
Peart only had 1 set of drums. By God, I got 3. Still not as many drums as Neil has.
I was gonna say though.
All right. Well, hey guys, it's been fun. Anybody want to throw in something at the last minute? Super.
Working on another GIF. I'm going to email you in the morning.
Okay.
Another stop motion one.
Okay. Very good. Very good. I'm going to put all this up. I'm making a post about all your motion stuff. You guys did a fantastic job with that. So I'm going to put it out and share it with everybody. All right. Well, until we see you again. Oh, for those of you who are doing the free tabletop, we'll see you tomorrow at noon. And noon Pacific. And those of you who aren't, I'll see you maybe next Friday for more photo talk. Sid?
Yes.
Thanks, buddy.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good
Hey,
weekend.
guys.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. You all too.